The problems on ages, we can call it as algebra word problems. This is subcategory of algebra word problems. Okay, so here the questions will be like persons ages are given, there is the difference between two persons are given, otherwise the relation between the two persons or three persons are given, then we need to convert the data. Okay, so before converting the data, I'll give you a few points. So this is actually I can explain orally, but if I my intention to put this on a slide is, if you simply go through with the slide, you can understand whatever points I am going to discuss today. So after, whenever you are practicing the same concept, and if you simply see the screen, then you can easily get that, you can easily remember that point what I discussed today. Okay, that's why I mentioned everything on a page itself. I mentioned everything on a PPT because I don't want to miss any point. Okay, now just see the screens here. The important thing in any kind of age problem is to decide that given age is present, past or a future. Okay, so there are three tenses, you know it. Okay, in English we have three major tenses: present, past and future. Okay, so first, by reading the question, we need to understand the particular question is given in present tense or past tense or the future tense. So we need to decide the question is in which tense. Now after deciding, what will happen, see, let us make it so simple. The x should be the present age always. Okay, so this gives you more comfortable when you take x as a present age. Okay, now generally if it is like the present age of Ajay is something, and 10 years back the age of Ajay is 20 years, something like that it is given. So if you understand, and if you place a variable like Ajay age 10 years back is x, now what is the age of Ajay, if you think like that, it will be more confusing. So that's why make a simple rule like always variable for the present age only. So take a variable for the present age. Whenever you see the variable, what you can understand, that is representing a present age. So for the question to question, don't change. So that is my suggestion. Present age always you can consider as a variable. Okay, now I am telling you x, later I will tell you what kind of variables you are going to take. Now come to the third point. In most cases, taking present age is x, the base year works fine. Okay, so if you take x as a present age, then that will give you more comfort. That's the point intention. Now past 10 years back, so if you take x is equals to present age, so if you take x equals to present age, 10 years back means what? Simply we can write it as x minus 10. Future after 10 years means what? X plus 10. So why we are taking minus, why we are taking plus, I think you understand. Because this is representing back. Okay, 10 years back means x minus 10, as x is a present age. So as x we are taking as a present age, 10 years back means x minus 10. Now this is after 10 years. So as we are assuming x is present age, 10 years after means what? X plus 10. Okay, now see the fourth point. In sometimes present age is not directly given, then take x to the age that we are supposed to find. Okay, this works for a few questions. And one more important thing, you can also try putting yourself in someone's place, try to calculate the age. Okay, so in a age questions, directly ages are given. So instead of solving manually, or instead of solving directly, if you place yourself in the question, it will be more easy. That is my intention to say. Okay, so these are the few important points. What is the first important point? First we need to consider whether the given data is representing which tense. Is it present tense or a past tense or a future tense? The next case is what? Try to take x as a variable for the present age only. So most of the cases it will work very fine. So that's why I am giving you this tip. The third point is what? If it is representing past age, we need to consider x minus. If it is representing future age, we need to consider that is the future, x plus. Okay, then after that you can try putting yourself. Okay, now whenever you are solving algebra equations or algebra questions, okay, so you can consider as algebra questions. So these are the four steps we generally follow. That is, first, read and analyze the data given. This is the first step we need to follow. So first we need to read the data. See, generally what will happen, in the examination, the point whenever we see the question, we'll directly solve. but I suggest you not to do that. So don't start solving by from the first word itself. Okay, so first read the question completely, so then you can understand what is given, what we have to find. So read and analyze implies what? When while reading, okay, while reading, what you can understand, what is given. Okay, what is given, what given, and what we need to find. So these two things you will get clarity by reading the complete data. So without reading the complete data, if you simply start solving from the first statement itself, sometimes you may go wrong. So that's why try to spend some time for reading the question. So if you properly read and if you properly analyze, it saves lot of time. Okay, that is my intention. So first మీరు క్వశ్చన్ చదవకుండానే if you start solving from the first statement, maybe after some time you may go wrong. So that is my intention to say. Next, assigning the variable. How do we assign the variable? Now generally from the childhood we are assigning the variable x and y always. Generally we assign x and y. But my suggestion, whenever you solving algebra questions, my suggestion is take the first letter of the noun as a variable. First letter of the noun. So this will be work in algebra questions. So especially in algebra word problems. So whenever you are taking a variable, please consider the first letter of the noun as a variable. Okay. So why it is helpful? Now I will explain something like this. The total ages of Ajay and some Vijay. So Ajay and Vijay is 40 years. Let us assume the data is given like this. The sum of the ages of Ajay and Vijay is 40 years is given. Now by our sense what we can understand, Ajay age is x and Vijay age is y, you can take it. So x plus y equal to 40, and you solve like that, and there is some other data also given. So you will solve like that, and after some time, so I am just giving you a case. After some time, we will definitely in a hurry because we are in the examination. సో మనం ఎగ్జామ్లో ఉంటాం కాబట్టి మనకి ఆబ్వియస్లీ వి ఫీల్ టెన్షన్. సో ఇన్ అ టెన్షన్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు వెన్ వీఆర్ సాల్వింగ్, సో సమ్ టైమ్స్ అవర్ మైండ్ గో బ్లాంక్. Sometimes for a few seconds, sometimes it will happen for my students. So that's why I'm telling you. So we may go blank for some times and we may get confused like what is representing x. So is x is representing Ajay or Vijay? You may get confused, and if it is asking about Vijay age, if you write Ajay age in place of Vijay's age, maybe there is a chance of confusion, right? So always there will be a chance of confusion in the examination because we are in a hurry. So because that countdown timer will be run at the top right side, so that will be obviously making you pressure. Okay, that's why I'm telling you. Manak generally examination lo most of the students will tell like this, sir, time సరిపోలేదు ఒక పాయింట్. ద అదర్ పాయింట్ ఇస్ సార్ టెన్షన్ అయిపోయింది బాగా అని చెప్పి. సో ఎందుకు టెన్షన్ అవుతుంది అంటే బికాస్ ఆన్ ద టాప్ రైట్ సైడ్ మనకి కౌంట్ డౌన్ టైమర్ రన్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. సో వెన్ ద కౌంట్ డౌన్ టైమర్ మనం చూసినప్పుడు సో మనకేంటి ఎక్కడ లేని టెన్షన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. సో ఆ కౌంట్ డౌన్ టైమర్ టాప్ రైట్ లో పెట్టడం కూడా ఒక సైకలాజికల్ బ్రిలియన్స్ అనమాట. ఓకే, ఆన్లైన్ టెస్ట్ లో కౌంట్ డౌన్ టైమర్ పెట్టడం, కౌంట్ డౌన్ టైమర్ పెట్టకుండా మామూలుగా 1 minute నుంచి 0 minutes నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసి ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 120 minutes ఆఫ్ టెస్ట్ అనుకోండి, 0 minutes నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసి 120 minutes పెట్టొచ్చు కదా, కౌంటర్ అప్ టైం పెట్టొచ్చు కదా. దట్ మీన్స్ వాట్, 1 minute 2 minutes 3 minutes అలా పెట్టకుండా 120 నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసి కౌంట్ డౌన్ టైమర్ పెడతారు. సో కౌంట్ డౌన్ టైమర్ పెట్టడం కూడా ఇట్స్ అ సైకలాజికల్ థింగ్ అనమాట. మనకి ఆ టైం తగ్గుతూ ఉంటే టెన్షన్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, అలా మనకి ఆ టెన్షన్ ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు ఎగ్జామ్ లో. సో దాట్ ఈస్ మై ఇంటెన్షన్, అది నేను చెప్పాలనుకున్నాను ఈరోజు. సో అలా చేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది అంటే ఆ టెన్షన్ లో మనం కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోతాం. కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోయి ఎక్స్ ఈజ్ రిప్రజెంటింగ్, ఎక్స్ అనేది అజయ్కి సంబంధించిందా విజయ్కి సంబంధించిందా. నేమ్స్ కూడా అలాగే ఉంటాయి ఇన్ ద ఎగ్జామినేషన్. ద నేమ్స్ విల్ బి గివెన్ లైక్ దట్, అజయ్ అండ్ విజయ్, అజిత్ అండ్ విజిత్, నిహారిక నివేదిత, సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్. ద పేర్లు కూడా మనకి అలా కంపారిటివ్ గా ఉండేలా ఇస్తారు. సో అదంతా ఒక సైకలాజికల్ బ్రిలియన్స్ అనమాట. సో నేనేం చెప్తానంటే అసైనింగ్ ద వేరియబుల్ బ్లైండ్ గా, ఇఫ్ డోంట్ అసైన్ ద వేరియబుల్ లైక్ ఎక్స్ అండ్ వై. సో ఎక్స్ అండ్ వై అసైన్ చేయకుండా, సి ఎనీహౌ వాట్ వి రిక్వైర్ ఆన్సర్ ఫైనలీ, అంతే కదా. మల్టిపుల్ చాయిస్ లో వీ నీడ్ టు ఫైండ్, వీ నీడ్ టు పికప్ ద కరెక్ట్ ఆప్షన్. ఓకే, సో మనం ఎలా చేసాం అనేది ఎవరికి అవసరం లేదు. ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ లైక్ అవర్ చైల్డ్హుడ్ మ్యాథమెటిక్స్. So in the childhood mathematics, how lengthy the solution is, that many marks we'll get. But now it is not like that. Finally, what we require? Option. So nobody will check your solution after the examination. Finally, we are picking the correct option or not. So that's why నేనేం చెప్తానంటే take the first letter of the noun as a variable, which means take Ajay age as A, Vijay age as V. Okay, so A, V and తీసుకొని try చేయండి instead of taking X and Y. Okay, so if you take A and V, then what is the use for it? So when you are solving, whenever you see A, మీరు ఎంత టెన్షన్ లో ఉన్నా, when you see A, what does it mean? It is representing Ajay age. And when you see V, what does it mean? It is representing Vijay age. Okay, so that is my intention to say. సో ఇది చెప్పాల్సిన ఉద్దేశం ఏంటంటే అదనమాట. ఏంటి, కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అవ్వకుండా, instead of getting confusion and in a hurry, if you are picking a wrong option, then obviously you'll go wrong and you'll lose some marks. So that's why I am telling you, like, taking first letter of the noun as a variable so that you don't have a chances to get confusion. Okay, now that is the second point. And when it comes to the third point, convert the data into the equation. Now how do we convert the data into the equation? Okay, now I already told you, like, the total age of Ajay and Vijay. So Ajay and Vijay is 40 years if it is given. Then how do we convert? A plus V equal to 40. Now, who told you to take plus here? Okay, who told you to take plus? అక్కడ ప్లస్ తీసుకోమని ఎవరు చెప్పారు? See, when you see the term total, what does it mean? Total అంటే the summation of those two persons, that we can understand. Okay, so like that, in what cases we'll take plus, in what cases we'll take minus, in what cases we'll take multiplication. So there are some rules. Okay, so if it is total sum, then we can easily take plus. So when it is like difference between the ages of Ajay and Vijay, in that case we will take minus. Okay, so by using mathematical operations, so how do we convert the data? By mathematical operations. So we will take mathematical operations to convert the data into the equation. Now then, after converting the data into the equation, what will happen? We'll get 2 or 3 equations or sometimes 1 equation, then we can easily solve. Okay, so these are the 4 steps we need to follow to solve algebra questions. It's like problems on ages questions, like, and time and distance work, time and work questions. Okay, for every algebra question, the main 4 things we need to focus is this: read and analyze the data. While reading, what we can analyze, what is given, what we need to find. That is about your analyzation. Assigning the variable, taking the first letter of the noun as a variable. Third one, converting the data into the equation. How do we convert the data into the equation? Mathematical operations, by using mathematical operations. And simplify and solve. After converting the data into the equation, we can easily solve the questions. Okay, so these are all the translation. I already told you in the third point, we use mathematical operations. Okay, so these are all the cases where we use some mathematical operations. See, translations. Now, equals, is, equivalent to, was, shall be, will be, has, same as much as. So if these terms are there in the question, we use equal to sign. Okay, so the sum of ages of Ajay and Vijay equals to means what? Equal. Is means equal. So if you have these terms in the questions, we can replace with equal to sign. Okay, next, times of multiplied by product of twice double. So age of Ajay is twice of age of Vijay. Twice means what? 2 into. So in this case we will use multiplication symbol. And if you see the terms divided by, per, out of, each, ratio, we will use division symbol. And see, for plus symbol we have so many terms: plus, added to, sum, combined, total, increased by, more than, greater than, older than. Ajay is 10 years older than Vijay. Ajay age is 10 years greater than Vijay. Ajay age is 10 years more than Vijay. Ajay age is 10 years increased by Vijay. So if you have these terms, we can use plus symbol. Then what about minus symbol? Minus, subtracted, smaller than, younger than. Ajay is 8 years younger than Vijay. Younger, less, fewer, decreased, difference. We use the mathematical symbols. Okay, so these are all the cases where we use the mathematical operations to convert the data into the equation. So this is for the third point. The first point is read and analyze the data. The second point is converting the data into the equation. The third point is, second point is assigning the variable. Third point is converting the data into the equation. And the fourth point is simplify and solve. Okay. Now I'll give you 1 minute of time. You just look at this. You look at the screen and you just write the statement here. Okay. Now the first letter of the noun is what? J. Now I am assuming J is the number of days Jane worked and T is the number of days Tom worked. Both are equal. So J equal to T. The next, Tim has $2 more than Bob. Now I am assuming Tim has T number of dollars and Bob has B number of marble dollars with them. And Tim has means what? Equal $2 more than Bob. So if Bob has $3, for example, Tim has what? 2 plus than Bob. So if Bob has $3 with him, Tim has what? 2 more. 2 more means what? 2 plus B, which will be 5. Next, Rohan ran 10 miles farther than Sham. So farther means what? Again plus. Now I am assuming R is the number of miles Rohan ran, that is equal than 10 plus Sham. Okay, so let us consider what? Sham is what? S is the number of miles Sham run. So R equal to 10 plus S. Next, Mike has 5 fewer marbles than twice the number of Tom has. Okay, now I am assuming M is the number of marbles Mike has. M is equals to 5 fewer. Fewer means what? Minus 5 fewer marbles than twice the number. Twice means what? 2 into. 2 into Tom. Tom has T number of marbles. Okay. So let us assume M means what? Mike has M number of marbles. Tom has T number of marbles. So Mike has 5 fewer than twice the number of Tom has. So which means 2T minus 5. So this is the actual equation. So be clear. Mike has M number of marbles with him. Tom has T number of marbles with him. So Mike has totally 5 fewer than twice the number of Tom has. Next, the difference between Ram's height and Stacy's height is 22 centimeters. Now Ram's height I am assuming as R, Stacy's height I am assuming as S. The difference means what? Minus R minus S equals to 22. We'll show like the mod of R minus S. The mod of R minus S equal to 22, which means R can be the highest or S can be the highest. Okay, that we don't know according to the data. Now 20% of Ram socks are red. Okay, so how many red socks are there? 20% of Ram. 20% of Tom. So if Tom has 100 socks, red are what? 20% of Tom. 20% of Tom is nothing but what? That is 20. Okay. So this is how we need to convert the data. So hope you did like this. Ages in the generation wise. So the first question is, the age of Ram is 10 times that of his son Arun. If the age of Arun is 3 years, what is the age of Ram? Okay. So as this is a very simple question, but my intention to explain the way of solution. So it's not about the answer for the question, guys. It's not about the answer for the question. It's all about the 4 steps what I discussed previously, that I want to show you directly to you. So that's why I have taken a simple example first. So the same procedure you need to apply for the latter questions also. Okay. So first, so I already told you, like, first we need to read and analyze. So while reading, what you can understand, the age of Ram is 10 times of his son Arun. So there are 2 persons given, Ram and Arun, and there is a relation between Ram's age and Arun's age. If the age of Arun is 3 years, and what is the age of Ram? So we read the data and we need to analyze now. So how do we analyze? First thing we need to analyze is the tense of the question. What is the tense of the question? How do we understand the tense? Simple, by the keywords. So here is, okay. Is means what? It represents a present age. So the question is in a present tense. The second thing what we need to understand, there are two persons given in the question. The two persons relation is given in the with respect to the numbers of ages, okay, between these ages, and we need to find out the present age of Ram. Okay, now we read the data and we understand like there is something which is the question related to the present tense. The question says it's a present tense and we need to find out the present age of Ram. Okay, now first we need to we read the data and we analyze. The second is we need to assign the variable. Okay, so I am assigning the variable like present age of Ram. Present age of Ram is R. So for the first 2 or 3 questions we are writing like this, but in the latter questions we no need to write, we can directly take it as R. Okay, next, present age of Arun. So the present age of Arun is what? A. Now, so whenever you see R and A in the solution, we can easily understand that is representing Ram or Arun. Now, we assign the variable. Next, we need to convert the data into the equation. Now, how do we convert the data? Simple. Take the data as it is what is given here. So, the age of Ram is, so age of Ram we are assuming R, is means equal, 10 times means 10, into, times means into, age of Arun. So, this is the first equation. Okay, this is the first equation. Now, the second equation. If the age of Arun is, so Arun age is, A means what? Present age of Arun. Arun age is 3 years. So this is the second data. Okay. So according to the algebra rule, if we have two unknown variables, we require two equations. So here we have two equations. If you simplify and solve, okay. If you simplify and solve means what? R equal to 10 into 3, which is equals to 30. So I do understand it's a very simple question, but hope I am clear with the 4 points what I said. So coming to this question, first I am writing like I read the data and I understand we need to find out the present age of sun. Now the second point is assigning the variable. Okay, Anil present age. Anil present age I am taking as A. Sun present age. Sun present age I am taking as yes. Okay, so this is assigning the variable. Now converting the data. Now when I am converting, Anil is 4 times as old as his son. So A equal to 4s. This is the first equation. The second equation. 4 years later, the sum of their ages. See, if Anil present age is A, 4 years later, 4 years later, what is the age of Anil? That is A plus 4. What is the age of Sun? S plus 4. See, if Anil age is increasing 4 years, then obviously Sun age would increase అవుతుంది. Sun అక్కడే ఉండిపోడు కదా 4 years తర్వాత. Anil age పెరిగింది అంటే obviously Sun age కూడా పెరుగుతుంది. Anil age పెరిగి Sun age అక్కడే ఉండదు. So we need to do this thing. That is what? We need to increase the two persons age when it is says later. So when it is dealing with ages questions and whenever the data says 10 years later, 4 years later, 5 years later, we need to increase all the person's age who are there in the question. And if it is like 4 years back or 5 years back, we need to decrease their ages. I mean, how many persons are there? All the person's age we need to decrease. Okay, so that is A plus 4 and S plus 4. 4 years later, the sum of their ages. Now what is Anil's age 4 years later? A plus 4. Okay, and what is the son's age? That is S plus 4, which is equals to 43. This is the second equation. Now A plus S is equals to 43 minus 8, which is 35. Okay, 35. So we need to find out the age of sun. So that's why I am just writing. So in place of A, I am writing 4s plus S equals to 35. So S equal to 7. So this age of sun is 7. Hope I am clear with this.